Hey guys, welcome back to Planet JeJuDa, and it is time for another Reddit Reacts video. Now, I will say I have already looked up Am I the A-Hole Crochet, found a story, and it is quite long. So it may be the only story we get today, because not only is this original story long, but the update to it is long as well. So, that being said, grab a cup of something yummy and let's get into this kind of long crochet story. So the headline is not OP, so they are not the original person who posted, and its tagline is, "Am I the a-hole for taking back a shawl my wife made for a bride-to-be after she was uninvited from the wedding with update." Now, I have a pair of reader glasses, so I'm going to put those on, and I should be able to read this a little bit easier. Sorry about all the noise. So I'm going to transition to the reader glasses. And let's get into it. Did it make my eyes look bigger? Alrighty. Okay. So, story starts off with, my wife Lena crochets a lot and often gifts it to friends and family. When her second oldest brother got married, she made the bride a shawl to wear over her dress in the evening. The bride loved it, and ever since, Lena has made shawls for everyone in her family getting married. Now, Lena's oldest brother, George, is getting married again. Lena doesn't have a relationship with George as he was abusive to her as a child, but if she has to see him, then she is polite but distant with him. She doesn't want to cut off the rest of her family because of George. I work with George, and while we aren't friends, we are friendly at work. Lena encouraged this when George got moved to my team. I was going to request a transfer, not wanting to expose Lena to George, as my team do a lot of get-togethers with our significant others. As it is a family wedding, Lena's mom asked her if she could crochet a shawl for George's fiance, and Lena agreed. It was arranged that once it was finished, I would take it to work to give to George so that Lena didn't have to see him. Earlier this week, the shawl was completed, and I emailed George at work to let him know that I would bring it in today as the wedding is tomorrow. When I got into work this morning, I gave George the shawl and let him know that Lena and I were looking forward to the wedding. Come lunchtime, Lena called me to let me know that George's fiance had called her and told her that she was no longer invited to the wedding, citing the place they are having the wedding, and the reception is too small for the number they have coming. So are having to make cutbacks. However, I was still invited to the wedding. Why? I was mad at this because they clearly invited Lena to get a shawl, which is to me just rude. If they had asked Lena outright to make one, she probably would have done, because she loves to crochet. On my way out of work, I noticed George wasn't at his desk, but the shawl was. I was still mad that they had used Lena to get a shawl, and I just shoved it in my work bag. I left a note on his desk telling George since Lena was no longer invited, the Shawl and I would no longer be attending either. On my way home, I told Lena what I had done and asked her if she wanted to go out instead, so not to waste having a sitter. Lena was upset that I had taken the shawl as it was causing an uproar in her family group chat, where people were calling her petty because I took it back. She had no idea. Lena wants me to give it back. I don't think I should. They don't deserve Lena's kindness. However, at the same time, I don't want Lena to be upset with me over George and a shawl. Am I the a-hole for taking back the shawl? Edit. I have messaged the group chat letting them know that I took it, and if they should be pissed at anyone, it should be me, but I would also do it again because no one gets to be a dick to Lena. Community comments. Comment 1. The shawl and I would no longer be attending either. Okay, and comment 2. Not the a-hole. I would have taken it back. It was extremely rude to uninvite your wife, but still allow you to come. No point giving the shawl back now. What's done is done. Comment 3. Lena was raised to be their doormat, scapegoat, punching bag. OP may be one of the few, if not only, people in her life not demanding she capitulate to her brother's abuse. I'm going to have to look up that word. Hold on one moment. Okay, so the word is capitulate, and it's to let go, to surrender after negotiations or something to that effect. Basically, they wanted her to give in to the abuse. And I don't like that idea either. All right, let me find capitulate to her brother's abuse. See, as long as she's the target, no one else is. It's really difficult to overcome years of that type of abuse and indoctrination. I agree, OP is not the a-hole, but it could take years before Lena feels safe enough to stand up to her family. Okay, so now I agree. That person, the OP, the original person who posted this is definitely not the a-hole. And I mean, why would you uninvite your family and not her husband? Technically, they're family by law, but still, if you uninvite one, you really should uninvite both. That's just a jerk move, and they literally just only wanted one thing, and that was for her to make the shawl. So let's get into the update. So everyone will be glad to know that I have not given George back the shawl. Yay! I mean, part of the reason I haven't given it back is because he's on his honeymoon. Okay, and in parentheses it says, I hope I hope it has rained for the 2 weeks. Oh. All right. But even if he wasn't, I still wouldn't give it back. Later that evening, Lena apologized for being mad at me. She said that she should have never agreed to make the shawl in the first place and was grateful I had taken it back. Lena and I had a long discussion about her family and how they treat her. I told her that I would always stand up for her when it comes to her family because I will stand strong when she can't. I asked her what she thought about going low contact, and in parentheses it says we were already low contact with George and his now wife and her mom. Lena said that she wanted to go no contact with George, his wife, her mom and to go low contact with everyone else but her second eldest brother and his wife. And in parentheses it says, we'll call them Michael and Sarah. And he continues on with, she said she wanted to do this because of how toxic the group chat had become, which she has now left and has shown me that she has left and deleted the chat. We have both blocked everyone but Michael and Sarah. I'm gonna wait a couple of weeks before I broach therapy for Lena again. I just want the dust to settle a bit, as I don't want her to feel pushed into anything. The story the wife gave Lena about there not being enough space was BS. Michael confirmed that George had told him weeks ago that they were well under the number for their venue. It was just a crap attempt at a power move. Wow, that's even lower. I'm really not liking Lena's family. Man, I know some Redditors, as in Redditors, were concerned about my work life after I took the shawl. I spoke with my manager and told him that Lena had made a shawl for George's wife, but they had given crap reason for uninviting her to the wedding the day before the wedding, and I took it back. When I told my manager this, he sighed heavily before telling me that he wished I hadn't taken the shawl because George could make things difficult for me, but that he would have done exactly the same thing because George is a nightmare. I told him that I'd like to move to another team because it wasn't good for Lena to have to be around him. He told me to leave it with him and he would see what he could do. I'd have moved when George was first put on my team, but Lena encouraged me not to, as she didn't want me to rock the boat with her family. I heard back on Monday that I will be getting moved to another team at the end of the week. This other team is desperate for someone. So when my manager reached out to other managers to see if anyone had an internal vacancy, this manager bit his arm off. Okay. The day of the wedding, Michael called Lena and asked what our plans had been for the day. Michael knew that Lena wasn't invited to the wedding and rightly assumed I wouldn't go if she wasn't welcome. Lena told him that we had planned to go out for dinner and drinks. Michael told her that that sounded like a plan and to text him where we were going for dinner. Michael and Sarah had decided to skip the wedding after seeing the meltdown of George, his wife, and their mom in the group chat. Apparently, they continued spouting abuse at Lena even though she had left the group chat. When the family turned on me and our children was when Michael and Sarah decided they weren't going to the wedding at all. They were just going to go to the ceremony after Lena had been uninvited. They messaged George to tell him their flight had been delayed and they wouldn't be able to make it. Their flight wasn't delayed. It was just the excuse they used, and George never responded. Michael had seen George's abuse of Lena firsthand. He had tried to protect Lena where he could, but there was only so much he could do as a child himself, and didn't want to be in the receiving end of George's temper either. As an adult, he took the first chance he had to move away from his family while only maintaining contact with Lena. So we went out with Michael and Sarah, having a much better night than we would have done at the wedding. There was no snide comments, no belittling, nothing. Lena was happy as she got to see Sarah, and that was what she was looking forward to. Lena being happy was all I wanted. It's all I ever want my family to be, happy. Both Michael and Sarah's phones, both Michael and Sarah's phones did keep going off all night as mother-in-law and George kept messaging them, angry at their non-attendance, especially after Michael posted a picture of the four of us together having drinks on Facebook with a caption about how he was choosing Lena over George going forward because she doesn't use people to get what they want like George did over a crochet shawl. Michael admitted to me later that he did this to anger George because he'd have a meltdown at the reception, and then his in-laws could see what a butt he actually is. Given the gleeful messages I got from Michael last week after we had heard back from a cousin who attended, George had a complete meltdown. Oh my goodness. Lena knows about this post, but she is not comfortable with me posting pictures of her work. She considered unraveling the shawl, but she found it difficult to undo all her hard work, which I understand. It's the very reason I didn't unravel it myself and tell George it was an IKEA shawl. Well, that and I didn't want to face a mad Lena. After talking with Sarah about what to do with with it, she has decided that she's going to keep it, but she will dye it. Michael suggested that she wears it to the family Christmas. There we go. We aren't going to see Lena's family at Christmas, so it won't be happening anyway. Michael and I are at the same level of pettiness as I had previously suggested, and in parentheses, as some people comment on my original post, in parentheses, that I could wear it to work when George is back. I didn't show Lena many of the comments. She doesn't need to see people calling her a doormat or saying she needs to grow a spine. Those people clearly haven't had their spirit completely broken by the people who are meant to love them unconditionally, or were completely out of family events. We're almost done here. When George graduated from uni, Lena was left at home. She was 8 years old and left home alone all day. Christmas was spent mostly in her bedroom because her grandmother didn't want Lena around, as her presence would just upset George. Why? Excuse me. Until she was 14, then she would sneak out and spend it with me and my family. Lena was just left out of everything. Her dad used to work away from home a lot, so he had no idea what was going on. He just assumed Lena liked her own space. Not that she would just stay in her room, because she was used to being neglected by her family. Jeez. It says TDLR, we're going no contact with George, his wife, and Lena's mom. Lena is keeping the shawl, and we will discuss therapy in the future. Neither of us attended the wedding, nor did Michael or Sarah. And then here's some more comments. Comment 1, my favorite part of the first story was that OP's brother-in-law, Michael, posted a pic of the four of them together. Sometimes it is the whipped cream that is the best of the part of the sundae. Comment 2, I'm so glad for this update. I hope you enjoy your new team at work and that things continue to get better for you and your wife. I am so glad that Lena realized that she should go no contact with the family except for Michael and Sarah. And comment 3, which is the final one in this, this reeks of golden child for the family to be okay with Lena being used and then uninvited from her own brother's wedding. Exactly, right? She's lucky to have someone in her corner. George honestly sounds like a toxic, spoiled brat to have this big meltdown over a shawl. I love the suggestion to wear the shawl around family Christmas, and then OP gets to wear it at his job. Poor Lena, her childhood sounds so sad. Yeah. And let's see, first comment that's not tied to the story is, so they took away the invite from the sister but left OP, who is pretty much the work colleague, question mark, madness. I'd be all kinds of petty towards George and his woman. Right? Someone else said it seems George also abuses Lena as an adult. That is definitely, it does sound like that. Someone else said, these stories always piss me off so much. What kind of parents can watch their child being systematically abused for years and are okay with it, even enabling the abuser? And then someone commented under that and said, my mom. Oh my gosh. Someone else said, why do he hates her so much? Or why does he is probably what it was supposed to be. OMG, what a psycho. And the final one that I will read, the whole time I was reading, I kept yelling, good husband in my head. Lena deserves him. And that is also true. Oh my goodness. Well, geez. So since this is not the original poster, let's see, I wonder if I can find. I can. All right. Oh, and they're just literally titled Wedding Shawl. Okay. Oops. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I didn't mean, go back. Go back. Oh, okay, that's why. Alrighty. But yeah, I do believe that, yes, Wedding Shawl is the OP's tag or Reddit name. So there you go. I'm sure that that's probably all they've posted. But yeah, that is quite, my eyes are getting, that is quite a story. And oh my goodness, I feel so bad for Lena. That is, what a jerk her brother was, and her mother and the grandmother. Oh my gosh. Like, her whole family was a jerk to her. My goodness. I am so sorry. That is very, very, very sad. And the original OP is definitely not the a-hole. And yeah, I would have taken it back too, because they didn't deserve it. They literally only invited her so that she would do a crochet a shawl. And that is so wrong on so many levels, because why would you consider keeping her husband as an attendee when you uninvited your own family member? That just boggles my mind. I don't get it. I really do not get that. All right, so this took a while. I'm going to go ahead and find something cute. And it's going to be knit, because last week we did crochet. So we still get both crochet and knit today. So there you go. I'll be back. All right, so I found, it's from 3 months ago, and it says the tagline is finally knitted something for myself. And would you just look at that beautiful, oh my goodness, I absolutely love this sweater. It is so beautiful, and it fits him so perfectly. Like, it is seriously perfect. Oh my goodness. So this is what he says. Nocturnal Jumper by Saskie & Co. on Ravelry. So I'm going to have to look it up and see if I can find the pattern for this. He said, I modified it to be opened with a zipper, which I love that. Worked in the round and steeked it open and sewed in a zipper. I'm assuming doing the steeked part was basically cutting. I'll have to look that up. I also made the cuffs tighter by working them with a smaller needle, since I prefer snug cuffs. I used Icelandic Little Opie? Let Lopi? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm going to have to look that up too. Comments. This is so cool. You're so talented. To which OP responds with, thank you so much. I'd rather say I'm well practiced. My mother taught me to knit when I was 11, so I have 20 years experience. And to which somebody commented, you did an excellent job. Also so brave. I'm terrified of steeks. I'm going to have to look that up. And then someone else said, congratulations on that wonderful mother who knew how to teach you, and you who knew how to take advantage of that knowledge. Without a doubt, a very beautiful creation. Absolutely. Someone else says, everything about it is beautiful. I especially love the contrast colored ribbing. I'm so happy that you treated yourself to such a wonderful gift. Someone else, I love it. You're so ready for autumn season to come, right? It's such a cute one. Let's see. I love it. I already read that one. Someone else like, damn, this is so good. It deserves to be in advanced knitting. Someone else, amazing. I've been eyeing this pattern for fall. How did it work up? To which OP responded, it was difficult for sure, especially the part with the cats because of the length between stitches. I caught all the strands every 5 stitches, but I had to redo it 6 times until I was happy with it. Very happy with the finished product, but truthfully, I won't be making it again. Oh my goodness, to say somebody who has 20 years experience is and not going to do that definitely says that is a very hard. I don't know that I will ever be able to attain that. Someone said I made Fair Isle sweaters for my granddaughters a few years ago. I did the steeking by hand, but never again. My daughter threw them in the wash with everything else and also in the dryer. Needless to say, they were a mess. In parentheses, my daughter barely said she was sorry. She's not a knitter, but still, I couldn't believe she didn't think it through. In parentheses, I've only made them hats since I'm getting upset everything, even thinking about it. Oh my goodness, I would totally understand that. Someone else, it's beautifully done. How did you add the zipper? I'm thinking of making myself something with a zipper, but I had bad luck with machine sewing my knitting. To which OP responds, I use a sewing machine, but you can definitely do it without one. I use a zigzag stitch up both sides of the ditch where I do the steeking. Cut it open between those 2 zigzag stitches. You can instead crochet up the steeking ditch to secure the strands. I definitely need to see what steeking is. Then I hand sewed the zipper in, making very sure to not stretch the knitting as I sew, just a normal needle and thread. It's good to do it on a flat table. You tend to stretch the knitting otherwise. Then I did a hidden whip stitch to secure the edge of the zipper to the inside of the sweater. I used my sewing machine again to secure the very bottom where the zipper is covered in plastic, mostly just to save my hands from trouble of pushing a needle through that bit. Oh my gosh. Someone else says, wow. Looks amazing. This pattern has been on my knit list for a while, planning to make it this autumn, but with purple instead of reddish brown. Got to ramp up that Halloween vibe. LOL. Someone obsessed. Phenomenal work. Great job. Absolutely gorgeous. Love it. You put a huge smile on my face. Terrific work. Love it. Oh my God, it's amazing. Wow, love that love the zipper. This pattern is in my queue for later this year. This is great. How did you reinforce your steek before cutting? And OP answered zigzag stitch on the sewing machine. All right, so let us look up what steek means. Getting a headache from those readers. Let us see what steek means, and then I will be right back. All right, so we've got our answer in what is steeking. Steeking is a knitting technique where a section of extra stitches called a steek is knitted in the round and then cut to create openings like armholes or cardigan fronts. It allows knitters to avoid complicated color work on the wrong side or to knit a tube for ease, making it a useful shortcut, especially in Fair Isle traditions. To prevent unraveling, the steek is reinforced with a strong yarn before cutting, often using a crochet stitch, a machine stitch, or hand-sewn whip stitch. So there you go. That is what steeking means. Well, we learned something new. So yeah, that was pretty amazing. That sweater is absolutely gorgeous. I would love one myself. Not gonna even attempt that because I don't even know how to knit yet. But that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I would love it if you would hit the like button. And if you'd like to be notified of any and all future uploads, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to click all on the notification bell. And with that, if I can figure out what I'm going to do, remember, gravity works, guys.